What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. The self-proclaimed TBE, Floyd Money Mayweather, formerly known as Floyd Pretty Boy Mayweather, announced yesterday that him and Logan Paul are close to agreement for them to fight each other on June the 5th on Showtime pay-per-view. He asked his fans where would they like for this fight to take place. He named several cities, including Atlanta, Las Vegas, and he asked his fans to vote on whether they would like to see him fight Logan Paul next. Now, a lot of fans and a lot of people that heard this announcement are going to get it confused, going to get it twisted, going to think they're talking about Jake Paul. They're going to say, oh, he's fighting that guy that had that highlight reel knockout over a washed up, over the hill, Ben Askren. But that's not him. That's his younger brother. They actually fighting the older brother who's 0-1, lost a controversial decision to a fellow YouTuber, KSI, the fight that took place in Los Angeles, California. Now, Floyd Mayweather Jr. must be hurting for money, in my opinion. I'm not saying he broke. I know people say, what you talking about? He ain't broke. He ain't broke. I'm not saying he broke in that sense. I'm saying he's got to upkeep a lavish lifestyle, a lifestyle that he was living when he was an active boxer. And he's got to maintain that lifestyle. Now, he's a promoter of TMT Promotions, and he's got a strip club in Las Vegas that I heard ain't doing that well. So he doesn't like he's got money flowing in and overflowing out of buckets. He ain't got that type of money coming in right now. So his best bet is to go back into that square circle and make money, because a lot of people will pay to see Floyd Mayweather fight, no matter who the opponent is. And I think this is just what this is. This is a money grab, because he doesn't have nothing to prove, man. He's on top 10 in my list for the best fighters in the history of boxing, so he doesn't need to fight again. But I just think he needs to upkeep that lifestyle that he leads, flying across the world in those private jets and making all these different appearances at these different clubs and different strip clubs. He's got to pay his bodyguards. I think he still has the bodyguards that he has surrounding him wherever he goes. He's got to pay those people. He's got all those people on the payroll. You know, he's basically the Hugh Hefner, of the black race, basically. All them women he got, that way he used to have. I don't know, he still got them women. I know he used to do those Access 24/7 promotions leading up to his fights. You know, he used to have at least 7, 8 women around him that he would be around at all times at his house and flying around in a private jet. If he still has got those women around, that costs money. That costs to keep those women happy. So he's got to maintain that, and the easiest way for him to maintain that is to get back in the ring. But he doesn't want to get back in the ring against a live dog, an actual big active fighter, because he would take a chance of losing that and he don't want to do that at this stage of his career. So his second best way to do that is to fight a YouTube fighter, fight an MMA fighter, fighter that you know don't have the skills, all the boxing technique, all the boxing skills to beat you, even at this stage of your career. That's why he's fought Conor McGregor and he's fought Tension, and he's trying to fight a YouTube novice in Logan Paul. So we will see what happens. We will see what transpires, but it's going to be interesting enough. That fight's going to be going head-to-head with Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos fight that's going to take place on Triller. That's going to have a good co-main event with a big name in the sport of boxing, Evander Holyfield taking on Kevin McBride. Now, Terrence Bud Crawford was said to be announcing that he was going to announce a big fight that was proposed to be on that date also. But I find it hard to believe that fight is going to take place on June the 5th with Mayweather's announcement and Teofimo Lopez is already having a fight staged. I would assume that Bob Arum, Top Rank, would move off that date for maybe the next week or 2 weeks later from June the 5th. Maybe it'll probably be June the 12th, because I think Jamal Charlo is actually fighting on June 19th. Jamal Charlo actually fighting on June 19th in Houston. So maybe they put Terrence Crawford next fight in between those two fights and let him fight on June the 12th. We'll see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But Floyd Money Mayweather is looking to get back in that square circle, looking to get that money. Used to get a huge payday fighting a guy that has a huge following on YouTube, a huge internet following, a huge Instagram following, Logan Paul. The build-up for the fight will be huge. Again, I won't be excited for this fight. I really wasn't excited for Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor, but the press conferences and the trash talking got me excited, and I was pumped when we got closer to the fight. Maybe that'll be the case with this fight. The trash talking and the build-up to this fight. Floyd Mayweather knows how to sell a fight with the best of them. Logan Paul has a good trash talking ability also, so maybe the lead up to that fight will get me excited about that fight. But right now I'm like, Floyd, man, if you don't need the money, man, why you keep coming back, man? Why you keep coming back? I guess a lot of his fans say because he can. Boxing has failed to materialize a star on the level of a Floyd Mayweather. Canelo Alvarez comes closest to that. But as far as African-American fighters, they haven't produced a fighter on the level of Floyd Mayweather, so that makes it easier for him to come back, grab the headlines, put the ski mask on, steal money from the fans, and then go on his merry way and wait for another opportunity to grab another large bag. So we will see what happens, and we will damn sure see what transpires. But Floyd Money Mayweather will be back in action a little like June the 5th, 3 weeks before his protege, Gervonta Tank Davis, fight on June the 26th against Mario Barrios. How many pay-per-view buys will he steal from Gervonta Tank Davis? Because you're going to be asking a lot of the same fans that follow Floyd Mayweather Jr. or some of the same fans that follow Gervonta Tank Davis. You're going to be asking him to go in the pocket twice for the month of June to pay for 2 pay-per-views. Will they be willing to do that? Floyd Mayweather says, hey, it doesn't matter. I am the kingpin. Even after all these years, I am the cash cow boxer. I am the name. I am the money maker. So I'm not worried about anybody else, even my own protege. I know people are going to tune in, show up, and show out for this fight between me and Logan Paul. And once again, I'm going to walk away with a huge bag. And then, just to make it look good, I'll be promoting the Gervonta Tank Davis fight. All in the lead up to my fight with Logan Paul. I'll have Gervonta Tank Davis at the press conference, and I'll promote his fight, tell my fans to buy his fights. Also along with my fight, but I'll have the advantage of the name and going ahead of Gervonta Tank Davis. And like I said, with the build up and the trash talking, people say, well, I'm going to pay for this fight, and I just see about Gervonta Tank Davis fight, who doesn't have the name and doesn't have the mouthpiece, doesn't have the personality of a Floyd Mayweather Jr. or even a Logan Paul. And that's why I believe that's going to hurt their pay-per-view buys. His last pay-per-view buy, that being Gervonta Tank Davis, was his debut pay-per-view. It did around 225,000 pay-per-view buys. And they're going to be looking to exceed those numbers. But it's going to be kind of hard coming 3 weeks after Floyd Mayweather pay-per-view, which is a big bright light, a big shining light that's going to blind anything before and anything afterwards. Look at what Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Conor McGregor did. It hurt the numbers of Canelo Alvarez and Triple G, a fight that took place 2 weeks afterwards. They still did over 1 million buys, but just to think what they would have did if it wasn't for Mayweather and McGregor. They probably would have did at least 2 million pay-per-view buys. So with that being said, will those numbers knock a potential 300,000 pay-per-view buys for Gervonta Tank Davis versus Mario Barrios? Maybe knock that down to less than 200,000 pay-per-view buys, which is the Mendoza line for making money in a pay-per-view event. Let me know your thoughts about all these comments I made. Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Logan Paul, June 5th on Showtime pay-per-view. One of the all-time greatest fighters to ever lace up the gloves makes a ring return against a boxing novice. But the weight difference is what makes it intriguing. Let me know your thoughts about this particular matchup, and hit the like button if you like the content of this video, and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.